Hello, everybody. My name is Angelique, and this is another episode of the Boozy Botanical podcast. I switched up the intro.
Hey, I'm here for it.
I was like, wait
You
a
know,
second, that's not normal.
You're like, I am Angelique. I'm like,
I'm
yes, you
Angelique,
are.
first and foremost. That's all you need to know.
Hey, this is true. They're not lies.
Yes.
Well, I am Holly, and as she said, welcome back to another episode, you guys. I hope you are doing
Hello.
well.
I know it's crazy. We're at 78, aren't we?
We're at 78. Oh my gosh, we need to start
That's
planning something
insane.
fun for episode 100
I
because
know.
it's very
It's gonna,
close.
it's like around the corner. I suppose it'll be a
I'm trying
couple
to think,
months.
would it be in January or do you think it'd be more like December?
I
If
think
I
it'll be
can math.
late. Well, let's see. So this is coming out. So this is, let's see, this is the end of September. Maybe it's January. I was thinking even later than that, but I suck at math. I have a theater degree. So I
At
guess because
least you have a degree.
literally,
I
hello.
went to college, but don't have a degree, so
So it's okay. It's okay.
exposing myself.
But yeah, I'm guessing it's maybe it might line up with the new year more or less. We'll have to count it out and see, but that'd be
That
very
might
cool.
be even cooler, right? Like
Well, wouldn't it be
2023.
if we're doing essentially 4 episodes a month, October 4, 8, 12, it might even be February.
Oh.
We'll have to see, but who knows? I'm excited for it regardless. I think it's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah. I
It's
know it's gonna be
crazy.
well,
But
how
Holly,
we
what you drinking today?
for a second, I thought I forgot it, but you guys, I'm drinking a
In a
Modelo.
cute little pink koozie.
Yes, I would have used our koozie, but I low-key couldn't find it.
No, it's okay, and ours is a 12 ounce. I don't think it would fit.
Yeah, this is kind of a fat boy, but look how
Oh,
cute. It
little
has
strawberries on
strawberries
it. That's really
from
cute.
Tony Clover.
Aw,
Yeah, very, very cute. So, what
cute.
about you?
Still nothing crazy. Oh, another water again. I promise you guys my bag of tricks will be back next week, and it's gonna be good. I
Be
promise
better
you.
than ever.
I forgot. Yeah, I'm still recovering from everything, if you can't tell by my voice. So I just need to give myself a breather. I've had a lot more alcohol in my system than usual lately, and I need a break. So
No judgment
yes.
here.
But I promise you the bag of tricks is coming back. It's coming back with a refresh as well. We finally got that fireball out of the way. So I
Thank God.
have a New Amsterdam gin that's being added to it. It was part of my cast gift from the
Aw,
musical director. She included gin because gin was like a part of the show. So it was a
cute.
prop that we used. So she gave us like real gin in in a shooter. And then I want to get a few more unexpected flavors. I know we still have a mezcal that we have not pulled, but I want to get some stuff that isn't just all Smirnoff. So I think I need to go to a different shop. But
Yeah.
I have thoughts. So if you guys have any shooters you recommend? I believe there was one listener that sent me some recommendations. So I think it might have been Taylor who did the beautiful earrings that we promoted a while back.
Aw.
So I have to double check what she said and if that was the case. If not, it was someone else, but I need to double check. But nonetheless, I have more shooters TBD on the way. And I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a journey.
Yes, we're all looking forward to it as well. I think it would
Yes.
be also really fun to, like, the next time we're in person and we're recording in person, to both go to the store together and buy each other shooters, like, maybe, like, 5, nothing
Oh,
too
that'd be
crazy,
fun.
and then, yeah, we'll just have to see what each of us pull. I think
I
that'd be
think that's a
cool.
great idea. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Writing it down right now.
Oh, yes. Take notes. Take notes. Holly, how's your week been? Anything new?
My week has been really good. I'm trying to think. It's that lull in between more traveling and
Yeah, I get that.
previous travels. So, the only thing that I really have to say is I'll get into plants in a sec, but I am
Yeah.
growing out my nails. Like I decided to
Lucky.
do
I'm
it.
trying to do that too, but I'm failing at it so far.
Oh, well, I
Tell us your
was
process.
I was slaying it, except right before I came on, I broke my index finger one. So
Oh,
I'm
I'm
kind of annoyed.
sorry. That's
It was more than a
annoying.
tip, but, still. But my
But now it's
nails,
uneven or whatever.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
they're still I'm trying to shape them to, like, that almond shape that I like to do my, like, acrylics or, like, press-ons,
Oh, that's
but,
nice.
because my actual nails grow pretty quickly, more than I
Okay.
would like, because for me, I either want to have short, short nails, like, natural,
Right. Right.
or I like short, medium length with, like, my Gel X nails. So
Right.
I'm
That
like,
makes
"You know what?"
sense.
Like, my Gel X nails just have not been lasting as long as I would like for the time that I put into them. Because sometimes it
Yeah.
takes, like, an hour and a half, and for it to only last, like, barely a week, I'm like, "Alright, No. So,
Like,
I'm
come on,
gonna do
this
my
is
best.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so all I'm really doing is just doing, like, cuticle cleanup, prep,
Yeah.
and then I do have, like, a nail strengthener and trying to, be very on top of cuticle oil and just all
Which
the
ones are
things.
you using? Do you know? Because 'Cause I've been
I
trying to
have
find the right stuff.
Yeah, so the cuticle oil, I'm blanking on it, but I think you and I, when we were in Minneapolis, we looked at it on FabFitFun,
Oh, right, right.
like a honey and
Oh,
milk
then
and
I might
honey
have that
something.
one because they sent me one.
Yeah, it comes in, like, a round bottle and it has a dropper, and it'll last you,
Oh,
like, the rest of
cute.
your life because you only need a
Amazing.
drop.
Yes.
I have also I've also used the Olive and June one. I really like that it has, like, this little cute, um, like a little
Like, brush?
applicator, like a brush tip, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
more
yeah,
like a
yeah.
rounded sort of spongy
For
thing.
sure, yeah.
And then I've also used dip wells, which is pretty good too. So,
Right, that's cool. Yeah, have you been using your dip well nails or not really? Your polish or
not
powder?
not really. So whenever I do my Gel X nails, I will do, dip well on top of it, but yeah,
Oh, cool.
haven't been using it a whole lot, but I will once I get my nails to the length that I like, I'm gonna go back to using them. I'm just trying to get get the length going so I don't need to
I
use
totally get that.
Gel X or press-ons, so
Oh, good. I'm
yeah.
excited for you to graduate. It's gonna be great.
I know, it's gonna be nice. So, as far as plants go, I'm working on getting my garden ready to go for fall
Oh my
because
gosh, yes.
Florida fall is very big for gardening out here. I know, like, a lot
Oh,
of our friends
wow.
in the Midwest or just other parts of the East Coast, like up north, their gardening is much different. It's really big in spring and summer, but here we can do a little bit of spring gardening, but it really gets very difficult when the temperatures rise, you know? So, like, I have a lot of plants that just, like, didn't end up making it, which was, unfortunate, but I'm very excited for fall. So I have 2 new garden beds going up, and then I'm getting all brand new seedlings from my lettuce grow.
Oh
I
my
think I
god.
Yeah, I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that my, like, motor burnt out with my lettuce
Yes, you
grow.
did.
So I was able to, get a new one. It's
Amazing.
being ordered, and then I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and get seedlings from them. But a fun thing is I'm actually gonna grow my own seedlings and get my own, like, they sell them on Amazon. It's essentially for hydroponics. It's
Yeah.
I think they call it seed starter plugs or something, and you can just pop them right into the little holes, and I'm gonna grow my own seedlings too. So,
That's really cool.
yeah, so I'm excited, and that's kind of it for now, you guys. I mean, I wish I had more to share. I got some new squishmallows, and
I saw. It's so cute.
they're really cute.
How many
Um,
do you have now?
like, in total?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Are we
8,
nearing
9, 10.
10?
Maybe like 10. So
Wow. Does Tyson have any?
well, we sleep with a whole bunch on our bed because 'cause they're so
They're
comfy.
so comfy. Yes.
Yes, like, my favorite one is Scarlet, she's a strawberry, then,
Yeah.
they all come with names, so,
Right, right.
and I'm like, "Where's Scarlet?" And now even Tyson, like, if Fitzy's, like, chewing
Calls
on
her
him,
by name.
he's like, "Don't chew Scarlet."
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's very,
Those
very
are technically
funny.
Tyson's too, but yeah.
Yeah. But they're like, yeah, they're your babies.
Yes, they're so soft. I actually did get a Squishmallow pouch
Yeah.
from Walgreens, and it feels like the Squishmallow material.
Oh,
So it has
that's
all the
very
Squishmallows
cool.
on it. I'm looking at it right now, it's super cute.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so
That's
I think
cool.
I did oh, you know what? In addition to my nails, I'm also like, my hair has grown a lot, so I'm on a new journey of really trying to grow out my hair too.
That's exciting. Is this the longest you've had it so far?
Yes, because
Wow.
I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was blonde for like 20 years. I would like color my hair, like it was crazy.
I only knew
You
Holly
know
Blonde.
Yeah, and ever since the pandemic, I went to my roots, my natural hair, and I truly like it. I think it suits me a lot better,
I like it.
and now my hair is very healthy and longer. I have naturally
Yay.
fine hair, but I've got a few like scalp products and just doing things that I think have really helped is like the scalp massager and
For
the
sure.
shower, the shampoo stuff.
Yeah.
sleeping with a silk bonnet.
I love a silk
And
bonnet. I have a silk bonnet and a silk pillow. I double up just to be safe.
yes, yes,
Well,
me
days too that I
too.
just don't use my bonnet, you at least still have that, and it's good for your skin too.
It's very good,
Yeah.
and it's, like, hypoallergenic, I believe. So,
Yes.
anywho, that's, I guess I'm in my beauty era, growing era
I
to
love
grow out my
that.
hair
That's
and
great.
nails.
Yes.
But what do you have for us today, Angelique? What is
Also,
new
it's
in your
nothing
world?
crazy over here, still in the air, or still
Mhm.
abroad at this point. But I did save an update for you guys to talk about this week versus last week's episode that we had prepped. I finally repotted my neon pothos. We've been talking about it for like a year or more. I know Holly has one that needs repotting as well.
Yes.
So I took it out of the ceramic pot that it was in, expecting more roots, like thick, I guess, like more rounds of roots, if you will,
Okay.
because it needed water like all the time.
Yeah.
So I think I had it in what was probably like I thought it was like at least a 6 inch, maybe 7 inch. Like it was like a very deep rounded pot.
Wow.
And I upped it, I think, to a 10 inch because I was like, pothos seem to grow, like their roots seem to go very quickly, similar, not exactly the same as Monstera, but they seem to grow really fast.
They really do.
So I bought these in advance with the like expectation that I'm gonna take the plant out of the pot and it's gonna be overflowing with roots.
Okay.
It was fine. Like it definitely had a decent root system, like it for how many years it's been in there, but it looks like maybe it needed more of a soil refresh. But I
Okay.
took a gamble because I was like, I could probably just refresh it, loosen the roots, and put it back in the same pot. But I really want to try these new vessels that I bought because they're big and they're
Yeah.
plastic, but they're meant to look like textured kind of rock sort of vibes. Just with
Yes, I
how it
saw
was
them
like.
on your Instagram.
Yes, so I went for it anyway, and it's very big. So far it has not fallen from the ceiling because I was afraid it was gonna be too
Good.
heavy, but it's plastic, and I wanted to move it on from plastic from ceramic to plastic. So
Yeah.
I switched it. It seems to finally I watered it, I think, on what day? I guess I did it that on Thursday, and it perked up by the weekend. And I was
Okay.
afraid that like, oh man, it's not gonna perk and it's gonna such a and it's in a new vessel, it's gonna be angry. But
Yeah,
it looks like it's perked up, which is great. I want to eventually propagate it because I have a huge, huge bald spot. Like the trails are probably more than 6 feet at this point, like or
wow,
more or less. Like I when I carry it, I have to like hold the trails or else they
I
drag.
see. Yep.
And I'm 5 feet. So they're at least that, if not a little bit more. So I what I think I would like to do is since the pot is so big, I think I'm gonna do 2 things. I think I'm gonna look at Home Depot because they've been carrying or Lowe's. I feel like they've been carrying things like neon pothos more commonly now. I'm gonna see
Yeah,
if I can just get at least like 2 4 inches or 1 or 2 6 inches, fill out the pot because now it's only full on like one side because it is quite wider the circle than my
I
other
see.
pot. And
Mhm.
then I might even what's the other thing I wanted to do? And then I might propagate it the really long part because I don't want to lose the length, but I realize that I have like probably at least 2 feet of just runner. So right now
Oh, I
to sort
hate
of hide
that,
that,
like,
one to
empty
keep it from
notes.
the right empty exactly. So to keep it from the cat playing with it and to like kind of distract from just the runner middle because then it grew more leaves after.
Yeah,
I've been hooking it over the existing hook on the ceiling. So it's just kind of like a
good.
bundle of pothos as opposed to trailing all the way down.
Okay.
So I'm gonna feel it out. I definitely would like to first add more neon to it. I also thought about like, should I add like just a regular pothos and mix up the colors a little bit? Do I
Ooh,
want to do that or do I
with
want to just keep it
neon.
neon? So I'm gonna think about it while I'm not in the US. And then when I come back, I'm gonna make a decision. But that was my big update. My neighbor's landlord said no to me adding the sunshade, which is a real bummer.
No, I'm
Yeah, everything's still
sorry.
dying. It's okay. I think I'm just gonna makeshift something and it's
Mm.
gonna look bad, but at least it'll give us shade. So I'll keep you guys posted on how the backyard's looking as we enter into fall. I am hoping for some color back in my succulents as they,
Yeah.
zombie out from the dead. But things are good. Things are good. I cleaned a little bit before my trip and I'm gonna continue to clean up that area after the fact. So the biggest
That's
update is that the neon
awesome.
finally got a new home. And I also I switched out the grow lights in my bathroom. You know how above my toilet I had that little setup?
That's right,
I
yeah.
got rid of the purple lights. Well, the purple lights had burnt out that had glued up there. or a
Oh,
fixed, and then I had a
sure.
clamp. I had like a purple light clamp that I was using, but it looked ugly. I just had it for the time, and now I just have like the like yellowish white light that I do for my greenhouse. So that
Cute.
is now in the
Okay.
bathroom, and it looks a lot prettier because it's on a white shelf, so it glows with like the greenery on top.
I like
And
that
so
a
I
lot.
so I moved my prop box. My prop box used to be in there. So that I need to figure out because like it's not getting light anymore, but I have stuff growing in there like a uh what's the shiny philodendron that's heartleaf again? Micans. I have a
Yeah.
little mica that you gave me, like a little runner, and it has little babies popping
Yeah.
up. So I took that out because it was just like bulky on that shelf and it was distracting and it didn't make the bathroom look cute. So now this is a little bit more curated. It has more smaller plants like the African violet you gave me, as well as some other like little Hoya that I had. And I want to add maybe some crystals and things for my parents. So I think
Ooh,
it'll look
so
cute. So making
pretty.
little changes and stuff. But the big news was that the neon got a new home, and I hope she just sticks it out, you know? So
Yeah, that's
yeah, so it's gonna be good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Do your
Holly,
parents
tell
Oh,
me. No,
so
no, go
sorry.
ahead.
You
Please.
had mentioned some crystals from your parents. Do they go to the gem show out in Tucson?
Yes, they do. My mom does especially. We have friends that work it. So,
Oh,
from
wow.
Brazil. So I always get like little treats and things. And I grew up with a lot of stones. So I think I have some stuff laying around that I could find, but I really am hoping I can go to the show this year if I go back home in February. So that's sort of my goal. I'd like
Oh,
to maybe get some new goodies as well.
dude,
So yeah,
I really wanna go to the gem show, so maybe we plan something.
that would be so much fun if we
Yeah,
could both be out there at the same time and we can record.
I
We're gonna
know.
have to
'Cause
talk
I
about it.
wanna
No.
Yes, we could record and then,
Not
like
no to you. The cat's trying to chew my cables. Sorry. I was like, you're like, no, Holly, I'm
No.
not gonna meet you.
I need to
Never.
literally bring nothing in my suitcase, throw back to last week's episode because I
Literally.
wanna purchase, like, a big crystal.
All right, all your weight's gonna go to that.
I know.
Do you know what do you know what type of crystal?
Well, I really love amethyst,
Amethyst is
and
beautiful. Oh my
I know, love
god.
clear quartz, and I'm a basic bee. I love rose quartz, so
Oh, rose quartz is beautiful. People like are hating on it for being too mainstream, but it's a beautiful
cheers.
stone.
It's so pretty. I also love, like, honey calcite, orange calcite. Of course, everyone loves citrine.
Oh, you've got a
Um
list.
Yes, I really want some kind of green crystal. Like, I realized my
Ooh.
birthstone, I have a chunk of it, but it grows, like, really tiny or grows, whatever, it's
Yeah.
formed. And, and I was kinda looking for, like a tower, but
Yeah.
I don't think it grows like that. It's just, like, tiny it's what is it called? It's, peridot? It's green.
Oh,
So
peridot's beautiful. I have some. It's a
yeah,
really
so
nice stone.
that's what I would like to, yeah, just get. I love it, so
No. Sorry, this cat. Just leave me alone. She's never done this before. Hold on. I need to just like make her leave. 1 second. I need to get a
Okay.
toy. Okay.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
goodness. All
So
right, real quick.
cute. If you guys remember, Angelique recently, well, somewhat recently, got a new kitty. Getting loud. And her name is Rue. I think that's the cat that's
All right,
giving her
guys.
a run for her
I
money.
threw a ping pong ball, so she should be busy for a while.
I saw her fling past the laptop. It was pretty
Oh yeah, it
funny.
was and terrifying. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna drop everything as she goes. But thankfully, nothing got unplugged. We are good. Sorry about that,
Yeah.
people.
I was reminding
Holly.
them that it's Rue, the one that you
Oh,
got more
oh my
recently.
gosh, yeah, Boog is being good. He's just laying down next to me, not being a dick. But she's just hyper right now, so I'll play with her in a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's going to discipline her right now. Be nice. Oh my god, these kids. Okay, well, Holly, my dear friend, what do we got on
Yes.
the agenda today?
We have a very fun episode. It's a planty one. We're back at it with the plant episodes. And
Yes.
I think we're calling this unusual plant tips. I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm
how
here
we
for that.
describe
We'll figure
it.
it out as we go.
Yeah, like something that's, yeah, tips that are not
Like
like
hacks.
very, yeah, hacks, tips that aren't necessarily talked about and that maybe are a little strange. We'll
And not
see.
always mainstream, but they work for us.
Yeah, maybe they'll work for you.
And that's why I was happy to bring up the neon. That's why I wanted to save that update for this episode too, because what we're some of the tips we're talking about directly involve like when to know it's time for that repot. If you're not one of those anthurium heads that have everything in Starbucks cups, because
For real.
I don't want everything to be in plastic, like clear
I
plastic. I'm
know.
sorry.
I know, I'm very sorry. We still
Yeah,
want
so
it
let's
to look
jump
a
in
little cute. Okay. Number 1 is how to tell when your plant needs to be repotted. And number 1 is when you need to water it way more often. Like I'm talking like every few days, maybe even
for
like every
sure.
week. And it's just like not normal for the plant. That is a
Right.
way of telling.
And
So,
I feel like people, they always are looking for a tip where it's like visually you can see the leaves being weird, or it's like you have to touch things to know, but that's a very strong visual way, or not visual, just like
like
habit
physical
way.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
physical way. Yeah, where it's just like, wait a second, like I like for me it was like I swear I watered the neon last Monday and it's already the next Monday. Why is it drooping like and it's losing
Yes.
3 or 4 leaves every time?
Absolutely.
That's
And
a big one
also,
too.
like, when you, like, lift the pot, I mean, that a lot of times this has to do with just, like, when to water, but, like, if the pot is very light as well, um, that's another way that you can tell if your
'Cause it
pot
should be
your plant
heavy,
needs to
fairly heavy as if you're
exactly.
exactly, right.
And also too, at that point, like, you may be losing soil and the roots are just taking up more space, more area
That's a good
space of the
point.
pot, so, yeah.
Right. That actually makes a lot
Um
of sense because you always are
mhm.
gonna lose a little bit.
Yes. Okay, so this one, I hope that I worded this correctly. So, and I think you understand me,
Yeah, yeah,
Angela.
yeah, go for
Hopefully
it.
other people will, but it's basically how to know if your plant is getting fully saturated with water, and that is like when you pour some water over the top, if you move the soil around with like maybe a chopstick or your finger and you can see dry clumpy soil like
It
sort of in
it's
layers.
not penetrating well.
Yes, and I wanna say I think I talked about that later, but they call it, your soil has become hydrophobic, and yeah, it just means
Oh,
I
no.
know, it just means it's not, like, absorbing the water really, and, again, it can be time to repot, but I think a good way is, like, if you don't have the best soil with all of the correct drainage, I would just do that trick with either your finger or the chopstick and just really make sure that the water is getting everywhere in
Yes,
pot and saturating the soil because it's so true. I've done that where I pour like a ton of water and then I'm moving it around trying to like aerate the soil essentially. And I'm like, wait, it's still bone dry over here
that's
in this
crazy.
section. And yeah, so
When
yeah,
Oh, go ahead. For those that do put the required drainage, like they have the additives and things, if they're seeing this happen, would you say that's also a sign that it's time to do a refresh? Because maybe like if you're someone, I know we don't really use perlite anymore. People that use perlite, it goes bad eventually and stops being effective and things like
yes.
that. So I imagine that's also a sign that maybe you should check on the nutrients that you've been giving that
I would
maybe the plant
say
needs.
yes, if you are a person that's still as if it's, like, wrong to use perlite, it's not wrong to use
Oh,
it,
no,
but
it's not. I like pumice. I just like pumice more.
yeah, of course. So, let's just say you are someone that loves perlite and you use it. If you start to see your pot, um, the top layer of soil, so it's like you have the plant and then whatever you see at the top of the pot, and it's all perlite, that's a good indication that all the perlite has now raised to the surface,
Right.
and your roots could either be getting, like, very condensed and maybe not getting enough aeration and could rot, or it's just outgrowing the pot. So,
For sure.
I've had plants do that where I'm like, "Damn, like, did I really just" it almost looks like you just straight up did a top layer of perlite on the top of your
It's
pot.
weird, and sometimes
Yeah.
it looks a little brownish, like it's, like, getting old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting stained from the soil maybe?
Totally, totally, and yeah, it's you can see a difference, like, you know what old perlite is, it's yellowy brown
Yes.
instead of pure white.
Yeah, so I'd say if you're like, I would never put a layer of perlite on top of my pot, I would
Right.
investigate it a little bit more. And yeah, you can still use it, but I think maybe you're going to need to do a little bit more frequent soil refreshes. And that
For
is our
sure, for
next
sure.
point. Soil
Oh,
refreshes.
yes, love a transition.
Yeah. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I used to get really stressed with plants that either I loved the spot they were in, I loved the pot they were in, or I just don't wanna have a humongo plant, you know? It's like,
Right, of
it gets a
course.
little scary, like, "Well, when's it gonna stop growing?" Like, oh,
Right,
so
right, right, right.
so what you can do is just a soil refresh. So what you were
Mhm.
saying, Angelique, about your neon pothos
Right.
is, like, you were, like, maybe surprised at the lack of roots out of
I
so
just
many years?
expected way more for how temperamental it's been. Like, way
Right.
way more root maybe a root boundness, I suppose.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you are dealing with that or if you just feel like, this it's been 2 years and the plant is in the same pot, you can do just a soil refresh. I've definitely done this with my giant Hoya obovata because I'm like,
Oh,
"Girl,
yeah.
you cannot be upgrading." It's like the lizard and, like, the
It's too
tank that you
much.
put it in. You
Yes, yes.
So, I'm like, "All right, girl, we gotta figure things out." But
Figure
sometimes
this
I will
out.
find that if you can just reconfigure the roots a little bit, they will end up fitting just fine
For
into
sure.
their pot. I've done that also with my, philodendron gloriosum, where I've just
Yeah.
repotted it right back into the same pot, but I've scooted it back further so that it can grow, 'cause it's a crawler.
Right, of
So,
course.
I think that was the whole point of this. Yeah.
But that's nice because you can keep things in like, if you really love the way a pot looks or like Holly said, you really love the place it's in, you don't
Yeah.
have to reconfigure your house as often necessarily, and sometimes I think the plant really enjoys its home, it just needs that refresh because I've waited too long to do refreshes before, like the neon, and when I do, I'm like, "Oh, I see, like, not calcium build maybe calcium buildup, but also, like, this, like, greenish sort of buildup that looks like kind
Yeah.
of germs, but it like or like a type of mold just because that naturally will happen with soil, things erode and stuff, and
Mhm.
you're just like, "Oh, you just need a little cleanup," and my Adansonii, when I moved into this house, had the same issue, like, it was developing this, like, greenish moldiness up top, I gave it a full refresh, and it blew up, and also, let me know how you feel about this, and I know it depends on the time of year. This time of year, I think is still good, but with that whole refresh that I did, obviously I put it in a new pot, but I took advantage of that time as a fertilizing moment as well.
Yes, absolutely. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
you might
at a
as well.
certain yes, if you guys wanna learn more about, like, how your soil is actually living and there's live cultures and there's, like, a whole thing, check out, Becca. She does a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of collaborations with she has done a collaboration with Tank's Green Stuff, and she has her own soil, but even more so, she'll have, I'm blanking on their name, but she will have someone on her show
Right.
talking about what it means to have healthy soil and all that. So pro tip there, check that out. But I do have okay, so the next tip
Oh,
for
yeah,
you
tell us.
guys, I'm gonna say this with caution because I don't know how good this is. I know I'm not the only person who has talked about this, but I would hate for like you guys to try this and be like, Holly said it was okay. Why is my plant dead?
What's happening? She
But
ruined it.
if you also don't want your plant to be in a bigger pot and you like where it's at, whatever it may be, you can actually trim the roots.
Oh,
And
that's true. You've done this before.
yes, I've done this with my and I feel really bad because now it's struggling a little bit, but with my ace of spades because it had a huge root system that was almost the size of the plant itself. I mean, it was
Wow.
very extensive. But I didn't have a place for a pot that large, so I ended up separating a baby and then yeah, full on just trimming the roots. I think a plant that would be really I would almost say like just go for it as far as trimming the roots goes is like a pothos because we all
Okay.
know she grows like a weed.
Right,
Maybe
hello.
even your Hartley philodendrons, but yeah, like, for example, I have a pothos that I recently purchased, and it's up here on my Wally Grow, and it
Yeah,
kinda needs to stay in a 6-inch pot so that it will fit in my Wally Grow,
right.
and I think I will totally trim the roots when I have to, you know?
Yeah.
You can't do this with all plants, it can be a little hard with, say, begonias because they almost have, like, a spider web type of root.
Right, right.
But anything with, like, thicker roots, I think it's doable.
Right, and understand that, like, it's all like, it's a gamble, but you've seen generally a lot of positive response, so it's always an option if you're really desperate as, like, a
Yeah.
science experiment, see if that's something that could work for the plant. But I agree,
Yeah.
probably not on, like, very finicky plants like alocasia or, these bougie plants.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you can try, but it might be a little harder.
Might be a little hard in just the structure of the roots themselves. I mean, I
Right, like, I
would
imagine a Hoya would be hard.
I know. I was just gonna say I would try it with a Hoya, but again, they have not as brittle roots as say begonia, but again,
Right.
it's nothing like a monstera or an anthurium.
Like a
It's
deliciosa would probably be fine. Those are so thick.
I
Do
think
you need
so.
to callus them over or you
I
just throw them
mean,
back in?
probably should, but
Okay,
because I don't want it, like, to be like a fish out of water, essentially, like, "Oh my
for
god, you need to
sure.
get back in soil."
Right,
So,
right.
again, that's why I say do this with caution. I'm not, like, the spokesperson for this tip. I'm
Of
just
course,
saying
totally.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I've done it, and it's worked
Totally.
well. So, I mean, if you
It
can do
does
it
its
on a
thing.
velvety anthurium, I think a pothos would be fine.
Yeah, right, like, we will survive for sure.
Yes. Oh, man. Well, the next one this is another one that I hope you know what I'm talking about, and I know some
Explain.
people do, but it's basically
Okay.
like, what does it mean when you start to see the soil separate from the rim of the pot? It's
Oh my
almost like
gosh, like, when you water and it just starts to all lift like it's the Titanic, like, it's just like
well,
is that
that
it? Because I've seen it to where, like, I've watered in my Wally grow and then the Adansonii and all the soil just goes boop, like, one piece
so
comes out.
that has happened, but what I'm talking about is more when the water drains and when it's before you water. Like, you'll kinda notice that
Okay, continue.
around the rim of the pot, all of the soil has sort of just moved away from it, and I let me see if I can find a photo
But so
example.
almost as if you looked at the top if you, like, look at the soil, it's almost like there's space between the soil and the rim, like, there's a little gap?
Exactly.
Okay.
And
I think that
I've
makes sense.
I've heard some people talk about this, and it's just really hard to word it, but
Right, right.
again, I should have looked for someone who explains it
No,
well,
that's okay.
better than me, but
What does it indicate to you?
what I've been told is that it means that your plant needs to be repotted, so it's running out of
Okay.
space. I think
Oh,
it also means that there's a lack of nutrients in your soil and
right,
back to the soil is not absorbing water as well as it used to.
right.
So those are all indicators that I've used in the past and it's helped, you know? It's like it's
Yeah.
just a little bit more like visual cues that you can try and look for, you
You
know,
don't have to
as
depend only on roots all the time.
yeah, and it's
That can be
also
hard.
it's just like the whole, like, how does your pot feel, like, weight-wise, like,
Yeah, for
just
sure.
seeing what the soil looks like,
Right.
and yeah, so that's another little trick of mine, just check it out, I guess, when it's
Yeah,
starting to do
yeah.
that.
I was
Eh,
gonna say that made me think of a different one that I don't think we had written down that I wanted to mention quickly.
please do.
When doing a soil refresh or repot either, Holly taught me this a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was you, and I thought it was a cutesy thing. Some people you've probably all experienced at one point putting a plant like maybe you bought it at a big box store and you want to give it nice soil, so you repot it and then it seems to really struggle, like there's an acclimation period. But
Mhm.
it's like, why? It was in trash soil before and it was doing great. I put it in nicer soil and now it's angry. Something that Holly taught me is that when you repot, keep a little pinch of the soil from the original pot because it's almost
Yes.
like it's like when you're moving into a new house. If you want to like ease your way into that home, maybe like I don't know, you bring a framed painting that you had at the old house and you put it up in this house and it makes it still
Yeah.
feel like home.
You
So
bring your
Holly has
teddy
told
bear.
me what's that?
It's like you bring your teddy bear to a
Like
sleepover.
exactly, exactly. It's like the plant teddy bear. So it's giving it like a little clump of soils or so where it like when you make your little hole, like your space to where you want to
Yeah.
really set the bulk of the root
Root ball,
the
right?
root ball. Yes. I like to just not do a nice little layer of the soil it was originally in, even if it's not the greatest soil or if it's not new soil, like if it's
Yeah.
old, a little bit of it might just help with the acclimation because it'll be like, "Oh, I know this," and, "Oh, here's a new soil friend," and it kinda
So
just marries
true.
nicely.
It's so
And I mean,
true
it
because
doesn't hurt it. So if you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, just give it a try.
It's a sprinkle, so it's not a whole lot, so
For
even if it's,
sure.
like, primarily cocoa choir,
There it
then
is.
it's not a big deal, and I just think eliminates a it could potentially eliminate shock to the roots. And again, it's not
Right.
scientifically proven, but it's something that your grandma would tell you to do. And when I'm a grandma, I'm going to continue to tell people to do it.
For sure. I just feel like I have seen positive response from it, and it's one of those things
Yeah.
where it's like, it's hard to know that it was just that and not good water or whatever,
Yeah.
but I do it makes sense to me that, like, if humans can be overwhelmed and anxious, plants can too, so why not just try to
Yeah.
ease the transition? And if it doesn't work, it's fine, it's just
Okay.
soil, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
For sure. Well, I guess the last little tip that
Yes.
I have, I actually learned from Harley G, a former plant mommy of ours and a wonderful plant YouTuber, if you guys have not
Right, she's
seen.
a big YouTube, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So she had talked about doing a hydrogen peroxide rinse on your plants, and I
Right.
need to double check how she measured it out
I
exactly, but
remember this, right.
yeah, essentially, you take water and maybe it's a tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide,
Okay.
and you water or I don't think it was fully hydrogen peroxide, I'd have to double
She
check,
probably
but
diluted it.
I wanna say she diluted it a little,
Okay, got
and
it.
then you water your plant with that. So what that does is it's just purifying
Right.
everything. If you
Okay.
have things like root mealies, um maybe you even have some kind of fungus going on,
Right, right.
it's a good thing to do, but what you need to be mindful of is that it most likely will kill any live cultures that are in your soil. So it I think she even said it makes your soil become sterile, so to speak.
Right.
So it's a good hack for sure if you just really need to like clean a plant. Like let's just say you go to Lowe's and you get something off the clearance rack. That could be something good, to just sort of make sure everything's in the clear. There's no bugs that are hiding in the soil.
Right,
And then
right.
from that point, you could repot and use your good soil. But
For sure.
I really liked that tip because I had never heard of that. And I was like
Yeah.
mind blown. It was pretty
It
amazing.
makes sense, and it's something that's very affordable to buy even at the dollar store.
Mhm.
Everyone seems to have it for, wounds and things. So if you're someone
Yeah.
that's planting on a budget, that's a really good way to combat, bugs and any, not beneficial insects and things.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. So
That's
I
such
just
a
thought
good
that was
one. I forget about
cool.
that one.
I know. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Well, Holly, thank you for this episode. I know it was a shorter one this week, guys, but
Yes.
Holly has been holding it down while I've been gone, handling our social media and getting everything posted. So you deserve a
Yes.
shorter one this week to work
Oh,
with.
well, thank you.
Well, Holly, where can the people find you on all the things?
So you guys can find me at Concrete Botanical on TikTok and Concrete Botanical _ on IG. I almost forgot.
And it's all good. Same. And you guys can catch me at Succo for Plantas, and you can catch the podcast at Boozy Botanical Podcast on Instagram, where we drop new episodes every Tuesday on all the things. Please, if you don't mind, subscribe on YouTube because we also drop on Tuesday the video element as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and if on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you could leave us a 5-star rate and review. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
And last but not least, I forgot to mention this on last week's episode, but if you are wanting to keep up with my travels, feel free to check out my
Ooh.
main Instagram, which is at the Angelique with 2 E's at the end. If I'm seeing cool plant things, I'm probably posting it on my Succo for Plantas one, but I don't know what I'm doing right now. So
I know, I was
just
gonna say, if you
trying to
see some
cover the
planty stuff,
bases.
yes, let us know.
I'm going to. I didn't mention this before, but I'm hoping Dom, who's been a former plant puppy, we're gonna try to
Yay.
meet up in London just for a little bit. So we'll
Oh,
see
give him a
if
hug
I've
so
seen you at this
thank
point.
you.
Great. If I haven't, still love you. So we shall see. I'm looking forward to that potentially. So that'll be nice.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you guys for another great episode of Boozy. And on that note,
Cheers. Bye,
cheers.
guys.
Have fun in Europe.